Hello, in this part of the tutorial we want to give you an opportunity to get hands-on with a machine ethics implementation, and we've picked the HERA system for you to have a go with. So the HERA system stands for Hybrid Ethical Reasoning Agents, and it implements a number of different ethical theories, so you can see how one scenario might be decided differently depending on the ethical theory that you are using. It can be found at www.heraproject.com, and it is largely a joint effort between Martin Benson, who is a philosopher at the Technical University of Denmark, and Felix Lindner, who's a computer scientist who was at Freiburg and is now at Ulm. There are actually two implementations of the HERA system that you can get hold of. There is a Python implementation that they have been working on for some time, and there is now also a Prolog implementation, which Felix tells me he started when he was rage quitting on Python. There is actually also, in fact, a Java implementation, but that is maintained by me and we use it for something slightly different, and I will talk about that in a later part of this tutorial when we talk about verification of ethical reasoning systems. So you can get hold of the Python or the Prolog implementation by cloning the relevant Git repository from GitHub. The Python implementation is more complete and contains a wider range of ethical theories that you can look at, but depending on your setup and the software you have available, you might prefer to have a look at the Prolog implementation. In this tutorial we're going to be working with the Python implementation, and in particular I will be taking you through some of the tutorials so you can have a look at how the Python implementation works. The GitHub has a pretty good installation instructions on it, but there is also a crib sheet that a student of Felix prepared, which can help you troubleshoot that. And we will put that crib sheet up on our tutorial website for this tutorial. So the crib sheet isn't available at the GitHub, but Felix very kindly sent it to me and gave us permission to put it up so that you can use it. In particular, when I installed the GitHub version of the Python implementation, then as well as the instructions which tell you to run Python 3 setup.py install, I also had to run Python 3 setup.py develop in order to get the system to work. And some of that's to do with there's some C bits and getting all the C libraries to link up. So hopefully you'll be able to get it installed and you'll be able to then be able to use it. There are a number of tutorials which you can find on the blog part of the HERA website, but to be honest, you have to dig a little bit to find them. So I've put the links here, 3 tutorials that you can find on the website. There's one on utilitarian reasoning, where they look at its utilitarianism as well as the principle of double effect and the do no harm principle. And then there's one on Kantian reasoning, which in particular looks at the categorical imperative, and there's one on explanations. Now these tutorials are a little bit out of date. There's been some re-engineering on the HERA system since then. So what I'm going to do in the next part of this tutorial is I'm going to go through those HERA tutorials and show you what the commands are that you now need to type in to get these systems to work, so that you can have a go with them yourself if you are interested. And I will see you in the next part of this tutorial.